Floor, Chris, thank you.
I want to get into our panel now. Britt Hume is with us. He's a Fox News senior political analyst. Also, Juan Williams is a columnist with The Hill, a Fox News analyst and co-host of The Five. And Charles Krauthammer is a syndicated columnist and a Fox News contributor. Charles?
Well, I thought the Ann Romney speech was a triumph. It was in two parts, in praise of women. It sounded a little bit scripted, but in praise of Mitt, part two was utterly affecting. And I agree, that line about doing good, not because it plays well, but because it's a privilege, was, I thought, just amazingly powerful. You know, the speech by Christie was an interesting one. It was not raw meat. It was kind of marinated. There was some subtlety in that speech. Is a tough guy giving a subtle speech, which you don't really expect, because it was nationalist, it was abstract in many ways. He didn't go through a list of things he was attacking the Obama administration for. Everyone knows all the things that they have not succeeded at. Instead, he just drew a contrast. He said to the Democrats, you want to have a choice election? I'll give you a choice election. It's a choice election on high principle about what kind of America, what way you respond. The one thing where I think there might have some trouble is when he spoke of sacrifice, which is not something that the Romney campaign has emphasized, as if old people have to choose between themselves and their grandchildren. But it was a nationalist speech. I thought it was extremely powerful. A little bit curious that Romney appears at the end, but I thought he did a job as the keynote speaker for the party.
Juan.
Well, I just have a different point of view here because I thought that Chris Christie did a very good job. I thought that, he spoke with a voice, and maybe because I grew up in New York, but it sounded to me like a voice that spoke to me. I didn't even feel like he was giving a speech. I thought he was talking to me personally, and it was very effective, very moving. And when he spoke about the idea of leadership across political lines and suggested concretely what he had done with teachers to improve the quality of schools, I found it compelling and convincing. And if there is a vision that Republicans can offer, I think that is the vision. Now, the problem with it, obviously, is Republicans have, in the minds of Democrats, acted as obstructionists. They have been the ones that have been blocking, according to President Obama, much of that progress. But Chris Christie, it seemed to me, was on point, and I thought he was a vigorous speaker and convincing one here tonight. Mitt Romney's wife, Ann Romney, on the other hand, looked to me like a corporate wife. The story she told about struggles, it's hard for me to believe. I mean, she's a very rich woman, and I know that, and America knows that.
Wow, okay.
What does that mean, corporate wife?
What does it mean? It looks like a woman whose husband takes care of her, and she's been very lucky and blessed in this life. She's not speaking, I think, for the tremendous number of single women in this country or married women or separate. She's not speaking. She did not convince me that, I understand the struggles of American women in general.
Is that the same speech you heard, Brett?
No, I think that was the single most effective political speech I've ever heard given by a political wife. And I think that to the extent that she could do it in terms of rendering her husband as someone who women who may have had doubts about him could identify with and warm up to, I think she did the job as well as she possibly could. And I think that a lot of women would look at her, a great many women, particularly mothers, married women, and find her utterly admirable and utterly credible. It was interesting to me tonight. It seems to me that the themes of tonight were twofold. One was Ann Romney's set-piece speech, which stood by itself and did whatever it did for Mitt Romney. The rest of it was, if you notice, the succession of speakers. Younger generation, new leaders, a number of them politically successful, who were there to say, this is not your father's or even the most recent generation of leaders, Republican Party. This is a new Republican Party populated by new young leaders who have been successful. That these tasks that are now before us that seem so difficult can be done because we are proof of that. We have, as Chris Christie said, we have done them.
Panel, thank you.